started singing from a very early age. In fact, I was dancing before I was singing. My father tells this story of me when I was a little girl, and there were a couple of things, maybe three things actually, and he just knew that the music was in me because I would dance to the beat of the dripping tap in the laundry, and when the trucks went past the house at peak hour, it was kind of like vroom, 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 and I would dance. And when the record player was playing, I would just run up to the record player and literally just, stand there and listen to the sound. I'd have my head right in the speaker. So he knew, I think he knew. But we've got musicians, singers and musical people, we've got a lot of artists in the family. It was obvious from a very early age that music was going to be part of my life. In what way, we had no idea, but it definitely, for me as a young girl, I just threw myself into music. There was something about music that resonated with me, and I had no idea what, but as a kid you just go for the things you love, and that was the thing I loved, and I still to this day love singing. It's the most fun I ever have is when I'm on stage singing. Singing is what gives me the most pleasure, I suppose. It's actually my dearest and closest friend. I have wonderful friends, that's not the point, but my music, my singing is the thing I can depend on all the time, however I'm feeling, whether I'm feeling happy or sad, or something has happened to me or my family, things are going great, things are going wrong. It doesn't matter. I always have music to come back to, and it's a savior for me. It's very spiritual for me. My favourite thing about recording an album are all the steps that you have to go through to get the album to the final product and have the CD in your hot little hand. It's from right at the beginning, when you're either finding material or writing the material, to presenting the material to your musicians, getting into the studio. That's just an exciting time where we put it all together and it comes to life. And if you're working with musicians that you really admire, respect as musicians as well as just great people, then sometimes they have fantastic input into how we can make these songs even better. It's great. I just love the whole process. And then you get the raw material, and then you take it to someone else who's got incredible gifts and talents, and they mix it and they master it, and you get your photos done, and you're putting it all together visually as well as about the sound that you're trying to achieve and that kind of thing. So to me, making them it's just so much fun, and I've had the pleasure of making quite a few albums already. My latest one, I really am so proud of. The way that album happened was very different to the way my other albums happened. And I got to do that one in Nashville, which was so exciting. My good friend Sam Hawksley, who's a producer, songwriter and singer-songwriter in his own right, really wonderful musician, got in touch with me and just said, "Hey, Nina, what are you doing?" To cut a long story short, I took some time off. I went over to Nashville. Between myself and some other really incredible writers, we wrote the album. So we put these 16 songs together in 16 days, and then we got into the studio, and 13 of them are now on Into the Light. They're very personal songs, they're fun songs. I really love the album. I think it has a beautiful spirit about it, and I know people have really enjoyed listening to the songs. I think they can really relate to them. I've been really lucky. I was born in Australia, raised in Australia by Italian parents, so I have that heritage going on. And then about 10 years ago, I moved myself to London, and I've called London home ever since. I'm now a British citizen as well. And over the years, I've had a lot of good luck and good fortune in being able to go to different countries and perform, write, record, go to festivals, perform at festivals, meet people. It's really wonderful. So my goal with my career and my life is to keep that going. I learn so much from the traveling, from meeting people, from the conversations that I have, from the experiences that I have. So my goal is to just do more more of that, a lot more of that, and continue writing my own material. It's something I came into a little bit later in my life compared to other people, but I guess it's always the right time for the right person. And so now I'm getting more excited about my own material and presenting that material to the public. I think the artists that have inspired me the most and that have made me who I am as a singer, there are a few. There's many, obviously, but I think when I think about it, it comes down to about 4 or 5 people, and they were particularly present when I was growing up in my house with my family, because it was the music we heard the most, and that was people like Aretha Franklin, Elvis Presley, Luciano Pavarotti, and then a bit later on a lot of Motown, so Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, and then into jazz people. So for me, the biggest influence jazz-wise was Ella Fitzgerald. I could really relate to the way she sang, because I think it's very much the way I sang. And then moving on from there, people like Nancy Wilson and of course Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, and Frank Sinatra. I think Frank Sinatra is probably the epitome of a fantastic pop singer. He just, he's just so smooth, so wonderful, and he's got such an incredible instrument, and the way he can deliver a lyric and a song, it's quite amazing. So I think those people are the ones that I go back to all the time, that shape me as a singer. And they're good singers. I like people who can really show emotion in the way that they sing, and they don't necessarily have to have the best sounding voice or the most amount of range or repertoire, or whatever that might be technically. Again, for me, it all comes back down to the feeling. If I don't get that feeling, it's not as inspiring to me. So, but someone like Stevie Wonder, for example, is a big one. He's on the top of the list because the man is just, he's God to me. He's God to me. Yes, I pray daily in the church of Stevie Wonder. I do. And I think that's going to set me on course for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Would you like to sing with him?
Oh, I'd love to sing with him. If you're listening, if you're watching, Stevie, call me.